Hi. Ooh, alrighty. Hey guys! First off, I want to wish you and your families a safe, healthy, and hopefully active time during this really weird quarantine situation. My name is Andy, and I literally just finished my last semester of undergrad in a BSMD program, and I am going to attend medical school at the Medical College of Georgia in the fall. So every year since I ever got into a BSMD program, around this time I've been flooded with questions from friends, family, strangers, and strangers' family with just what are my experiences in this program. Because for most people, it's a fairly new concept, both in the medical community and outside of the medical community. And so I wanted to put together a video to answer most of the, frequently asked questions about a student's perspective of being in one of these kinds of programs from somebody who has, made it through to this last stage. Well, at least for now. Because then there's like med school and then residency. But all right, you get my point. And but all right, look, I know the YouTube search results when you type in a BSMD program is saturated with the hey, look at my GPA, or hey, look at all my stats. This is how you get into a program. This is how you beef up your resume. And look, I'm sorry, if that's what you're looking for, this isn't that video. There's already so much pre-med neuroticism and anxiety about numbers and how do I best prepare myself with stats and everything to get into programs just in general, and I'm just not willing to add to that epidemic. Because what I wanted to do in this video is to be a true, unfiltered, kind of personal talk about why you want to do it, or maybe what you're about to get into inside and outside of the classroom. So to make things easier, and honestly at this point, since I don't really know how to present information that isn't in a PowerPoint format anymore, I'm going to break this video down into 5 different sections, and they'll all be timestamped below in the description if you want to skip around and you want to see something in particular. The first being what even is a BSMD program. Then we're going to talk about the academic rigor in terms of classwork that you'll expect. Then the almighty MCAT. Then life outside of the classroom, because you gotta not be a robot. And then finally a small little summary overview of the pros and cons of this program, and then my personal opinion if it was really all worth it. Plus a little bonus section at the end for those that, the aspiring students that may think this program is right for them, and I'll kind of present some questions that you should ask yourself if you are thinking that this program is right for you. And so, without further ado, for those watching, if you're an admitted student into one of these programs, first off, congratulations, and hopefully this gives you a better insight into what you're kind of about to get yourself into. If you're a bright high schooler wondering, should I apply for this program? What's it like? Hopefully this gives you a better insight into what to expect and to really determine if applying for one of these programs is the right thing for you. And finally, if you're a very confused parent or student wondering what in the world one of these programs are that looks dangerously like something that you can find on an adult website, don't worry. Hopefully I can keep you informed and answer most of your questions. So I'll try to make this thing as entertaining as possible, and hopefully you enjoy. And. So before I begin, I just want to, put forth a few disclaimers that you want to keep in mind during the rest of the video. The school that I went to and the program, the undergrad institution, is a relatively small school. I believe the website says we have like 5.5 thousand enrolled in total, with 3,000 of those being graduate. So it is a decently small school, and please, these are all my opinions. These are all my opinions based off of my personal experience, and does not reflect any of the opinions of the school, my program, my undergraduate institution, or the affiliated medical college. So please, don't get me in trouble with the school, please, and thank you. Okay, so what is a BSMD program? So it's not as uncommon as you think. I think now schools like Brown, Florida Atlantic University, Boston, Texas Tech, Mercer, Temple, Northwestern, Indiana, you get the point. There's a lot of places that are starting to get these programs now. And so a BSMD program is, hold on, let me bring up my own personal definition. A program that typically consists of a combined undergraduate and medical school track which accelerates a student who wishes to pursue a medical career. Andy Wynn, 2020. Thank you. Merriam-Webster, I expect my check in the mail. Students are usually accepted right outside of high school for these programs, and which, depending on the program, guarantees acceptance or interview to their affiliated medical institution, as long as you complete the undergraduate college's kind of like requirement or quote-unquote prereqs before you get in. And that's why you see a lot of people go, oh my gosh, I got accepted into med school straight out of high school. Hey, I got accepted into med school when I'm 18. Yada, yada, yada. And it's more like, yay, accepted, but put like an asterisk right at the end. You have to read the terms and conditions. Stop the clickbait, guys. I see it. Hashtag stop the clickbait. Get it trending. So some programs are 7 years, some programs are 8 years, some programs I've even seen are 6 years, which is kind of crazy to me. And so most programs contractually tie you to the affiliated medical school for the undergraduate institution, with no option to apply out if you wanted to. Say, you did well during undergrad and you didn't really want to go to the affiliated med school, you don't really have a choice in most programs. But there are some programs that do let you apply out if you want, but most of them, they only give you a guaranteed interview to the med school, so that's why they kind of give you that option to apply out if you wanted to. So each of these programs have their own different requirements to matriculate through, so you have to treat each program very, very differently and very individually. And when you're applying, look at each program's own terms when you're making the decision. And so some have different MCAT requirements, some even waive the MCAT entirely, which is, Lord bless y'all, you escaped a bullet by a pretty big bullet too. And it's a great, these programs are a great way to just have safety and security over your career path, but also it's kind of extremely competitive. When I mean kinda, I mean it's extremely competitive with the increasing competitiveness of just getting into med school the traditional route. So my unique program, as you can see, this is my old folder. You see even my name written on it. This is the folder I got when I first got introduced into the program. I was meeting my cohort and everything, met the program managers and the deans. Even my old name card. Yeah, that's me. So the unique requirements for my program at Augusta University, this is different again for other programs across the country, but we have a 7-year track, so it's 3 years of undergrad and your typical 4 years of medical school with an option for a 4x4. So say you don't meet the GPA requirements in your 3 years, or you don't get your MCAT score within the 3 years, they give you kind of a 4th year if you're able to mathematically bring up your GPA or give you more shots at the MCAT. Then they'll just kind of almost hold you back for another year of undergrad, but you still, if you're able to make it through, you still have a guaranteed seat at the medical college. And so traditionally you're supposed to take the MCAT during or before September 30th of your 3rd year of undergrad. And then you have one round of interview, which it's like somewhat of a formality, but you still need to take it seriously. You are being interviewed by the legitimate board members of the admissions board of the Medical College of Georgia. But like, you need to kind of express that you're in it for, greater reasons than just money, status. As long as you don't say anything too stupid, you should be fine. For the MCAT, the requirement is the national mean or higher, which for our year, it was 511, and then a 3.7 overall GPA by the end of your 3 years of undergrad. Outside of school, you need a 40-hour minimum of clinical volunteer hours, and it's kind of weird because in terms of classes, you can't take summer classes because it's a cohort style, so a lot of people need to be, everybody has to be on the same kind of schedule basis. So that means that we can't kind of jump around and take classes in advance. So as of right now, the requirements of getting into the program out of high school is a minimum GPA of 3.7 and a minimum ACT of 32 and or a combined SAT of 1450 critical reading and math, and that can be super scored. So yeah, that's my program. So now that you understand kind of what a BSMD program is, now I'm gonna get into kind of what to expect in terms of the day-to-day classes throughout the undergrad portion of it. And so yeah, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna be taking about 16, 17, all the way up to maybe 18 credit hours a semester for 90% of your time, with the exception of your last semester of the program. Your major, typically you can't really choose your major because you're trying to condense like 4 years of undergrad into 3. So they'll stick you in your basic bio major. For me, it was a major called cell and molecular biology, and so it's your typical pre-med class setup. And so you'll be doing your biologies, your chemistries, organic chem, your calc-based physics, your molecular labs, microbiology, cell biology, anatomies, the good stuff. And so because it is a cohort style, you can't really choose your classes, which kind of sucks. It's this weird thing where you never have to worry about having to wake up early to register, because you're kind of guaranteed to get the classes that you need, because we need to complete our 4-year degree in 3 years. But because of that, you don't get to choose times, you don't get to choose professors, so kind of just get tossed in whatever, and you got to deal with it, which can be a good or bad thing. And also because you don't get to choose your classes, You can minor in something, but it is really hard because it all just kind of depends on how many credits that you come in with from high school, whether it be AP or IB or dual enrollment classes. And even some of those you can't really take with you. Our program, even if you could exempt Bio 1, you still have to take it again. And same thing with, I think, statistics. So there are exceptions to that, but I have friends in the program that were able to at least get certificates in something that they wanted to, but minors were just so hard because you couldn't really squeeze in those classes around the schedule of classes that you actually needed. For me, we were running on a just straight up A, B, C scale. It wasn't a plus minus scale, which was like good in some ways, but also means a B would hurt you a lot more. That's just something to keep in mind. Again, because we can't choose our classes, there's not a lot of room for electives, which kind of sucks. And also because you're taking so much. And I remember my second year of the program where we were taking like 3 classes with labs. And so it was like non-stop, back to back to back. You got to learn to spit out lab reports like it's nothing. And so there's a big balance of time, energy, and stress that you got to learn during it. But I think that's just, honestly, it's not really unique to the program. It's just college in general. But any pre-med can really understand the struggle of it. But the cool thing about it is because it's a cohort style, you're gonna be all together. The people in your program are all gonna be there in your classes. You're gonna know each other. And so in that way, you can kind of help each other out. I studied together with my cohort. We helped each other with lab reports. We were frequently in lab groups together. And it kind of made things a little bit easier. I don't want to use the term misery loves company because that's a really bad connotation to what's going on. But I think having the just ready support there was really a plus about being in this program. So one last thing before we move on. It is kind of funny because professors, when they get the roster for their classes, they know who's a BSMD or not, which is like a good or bad thing. Some professors go super try hard on you and will make your class like way harder than it needs to be because they're like, oh, these guys are super smart, let's challenge them. But on the other side, there are some professors that are like, wow, these are really good students. I'm gonna make it challenging, not necessarily like overly difficult, but prioritize really learning during the course instead, which is really cool. And another plus is that, especially because they know you're a BSMD, especially if you're interested in research or something, you'll kind of get better opportunities because they kind of see you as, you know, hey, you've already proven yourself as a good student, so I think you'll be a good addition to my lab or a good help to whatever project I'm doing. All right, next, yeah, it's here. It's kind of unavoidable. The MCAT. Yeah, that beast of a test. So, yeah, the program, there really isn't too many requirements. The big thing was like GPA and MCAT to get through, and you know, GPA, you can help each other out and everything, but MCAT is just you. You better know your stuff. You got no help. It's kind of the great equalizer. So it's something that you have to take very seriously. And, you know, as much as you're surrounded by very brilliant people, getting the national median is easier said than done. Most people on a traditional pre-med route will take their MCAT after their 3rd year of college. But for us, we're literally taking it after our 2nd year of college. So it's rough. You're going in it with a lot less, you know, time, preparation. You're going into it with a lot less classes, to be honest, than most of the people applying the regular route. So it is challenging. You're taking it earlier than you're supposed to. So for me, the best thing to do is just kind of study ahead. Like, don't stress over it, but keep it in the back of your mind. Typically, people study for, you know, around 6 months to 2 months before you take the test. There are plenty of resources available both through the AMC and third-party companies such as Princeton Review, Next Step, I use their full-length tests, and just there's a lot of stuff out there to prepare you for it. I got the entire Kaplan set. There's an app of flashcards called Anki that's cloud-based. There are people that have gone before you that have made complete decks to use. Overall, in BSMD programs, as much as like you feel underprepared, your classes are specifically tailored to the MCAT. So, you know, as much as it sucks that you don't get to choose your classes, the classes that are chosen for you are done, you know, intentionally. And so I remember in my second year before I took it, we were taking cell biology and microbiology at the same time. And our cell biology curriculum was actually kind of tweaked in a little way to add some biochem into it, because we don't get biochem before taking the MCAT, which is like an entire section of the MCAT. So, and we didn't feel like we were prepared, but then when you get down and take these tests, you're going, wait a second, I remember that from my class. And so if you concentrate in your classes and you study, you do really, really well in them, you should be prepared for the MCAT. That doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare outside of it, but you should also know that studying for your classes is not putting you at a disadvantage, and it's not taking away time from MCAT studying, if you know what I mean. And so there's a whole bunch of other tricks I can get into on how to study for the MCAT, but that can be an entire other video in itself. So please let me know down below if you want to see that video, and I can make that for you. Okay, so now I want to get into, honestly, in my opinion, the most important part of this program, extracurriculars, and just kind of social life in general. This is probably what most of the students watching this are wanting to know. How is it being in this super accelerated program where you're thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta be, you know, an introvert nerd and study all the time 24/7. That's not really the case. In terms of extracurriculars, there's a lot of opportunities on campus. You're in college. You know, the world is your oyster. There's a reason why college is such a great time, is because the opportunities are truly endless. Of course, they're your basic ones. There's volunteering, both clinical and non-clinical, easy opportunities within your affiliated medical system to get. You can work a job on and off campus. I have program mates that were tutors in between classes. They made good money. I've had people that have worked retail. My friend worked at Old Navy. I worked as a barista at a coffee shop for pretty much the entirety of my last year of the program. You can also start a club. One of my roommates literally started a karate club just because he could. And there are other people that have made specialty interest groups. I know there are some years below me that did a neurology or like neuroscience interest group that they made, and those are things that you can definitely do. I think bottom line is join a club or do an activity that you are passionate about, not just to boost your resume, because I think it's a really, really cool opportunity that you're in a program where you don't really have to boost your resume. You have to meet, you know, somewhat minimal requirements to get into medical school. So instead of, you know, going after those bio clubs, chem club, let me be president of, you know, these super academic things to show the admissions committee that I'm dedicated to this field. Instead, no, use that opportunity and freedom that you get being in a program where you don't have to boost your resume to do something that you never thought you could. Of course, you can do research. I've had a lot of friends, including myself, they've done bench work, they've done projects. I did clinical research during my time there. I have friends that worked in HIV clinics to help in testing and everything. So there's a lot of opportunity if you do want to just stay healthcare oriented. There's music. I have friends that were literally in the band, or I guess it's called like orchestra for the school. There's dance. I have friends that have joined Indian dance and cultural associations. Ministry, I was a part of a campus ministry during my time, all 3 years. I loved it. It's given me a lot of opportunities, a lot of cool friendships. And then all the way down to just, you know, go cook with your friends, go hang out. Outside of school, you can still have your typical college experience. And then, Greek life, is another big thing that you can get on campus. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm in this program. Greek life is going to consume me. I can't do that. Or 5 guys in my cohort rushed of our fall freshman year, including me. I joined a fraternity for all 3 years of my time in undergrad. We were able to balance it out. We had a lot of fun doing so, and it was a really good time. So you have your retreats and formals. Being in this program does not prevent you from having that, typical college experience per se. So go live in the dorms, go to sporting events and tailgates, go have some fun, go travel, see friends, explore the city, go, outdoor recreation, go take pictures, have those late nights, have those stupid moments. But at the end of the day, come back, be focused, get your stuff done, and just focus when you need to. Just say yes to opportunities outside school. Don't think that because you are in a super accelerated academic program that you have to choose between just academics and then outside life. There is so much of a needed balance there, and honestly, people make it out to be a black and white yes or no when you forget about C. Why not do both? I think the bottom line is make the most of your opportunities extracurricularly. Take the leadership positions, be the best that you can be in those organizations, and then at the end of the day, you have to learn how to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. This program is tough, and you have to find a way, and there is a way, to have the work-life balance. But the rigor of everything going on is going to grow on you very quickly. And now it's not necessarily, again, a trademark of a BSMD program. It's more just a trademark of college that, you have to grow up a little bit. But because you're in an accelerated program, I think you're gonna realize that you gotta grow up a little bit quicker than and just kind of mature a little bit quicker than I think you expected to in terms of just time management and self-sustainability. But if you're thinking of this program or you already got in, I'm sure, this isn't your first time being ahead of the curve. This isn't your first time being in a position way, ahead of your peers. And so take it in stride, work hard, have fun, and just make the most of it while you're there. All right, so finally, we are here to kind of say, was it worth it? Kind of break down some of the pros and cons. I'll start with the cons first because we'll end it on a positive note. First off, you need to know that you want to do medicine. It can't be for money. It can't be for the title, and it definitely can't be because your parents are forcing you to do this. And I know I'm gonna get some flack from parents for saying that, but it's true. This program, just the pre-med route in general, is very, very stressful. It's gonna push you to your limits, and if you're not really invested in it for a reason that is greater than just material things, it's simply not worth it. You can make so much more money in less time, with less stress, maybe a better lifestyle, to be honest, doing just a lot of other things. But if you really, really want to do medicine, this program is good for you. So next, there's kind of the potential for laziness or cruising because you don't have to do a lot outside of school to get into med school. A lot of people don't really do anything outside of school. They just kind of stick tunnel vision. I'm just gonna go to school, go home, and then I'll get to med school. But that doesn't really make you a better doctor. It's not gonna make you a better student. And honestly, no patient really wants to talk with a doctor that can only speak in metabolic pathways and, drugs. Another thing is you might be antagonized by a few students. I know at the beginning of my program, a lot of my friends outside of the program kind of made fun of us for traveling in packs, and for the longest time I was like, no, that's not true, that's stupid. It's just because we have the same classes together. But then near my second year, I started seeing us all coming out of classes together, and I was like, oh, that's why. It is kind of hard sometimes. You're looked around campus as kind of an alien, but the people that really support you and kind of get to know you outside of school will really be able to support you and get you through that whole stigma. Another thing is, it's easy to do schoolwork all day long. Again, kind of going with the cruising, it's like, if that's all you do, you can get into med school pretty easy, but you gotta find that balance. But it kind of sucks that that option to cruise and just lock yourself in a room and just study all day is there. And some people do that route, but I think that is kind of a con of this program because it lets that opportunity go through. Of course, you can't choose your classes, you can't choose your professors, you can't choose your class times. So it is kind of hard even to maintain jobs outside of school because you got to work around a class schedule that you don't even get to pick. For me personally, it was a small school, so I didn't get like, I had my typical college experience, but I wanted, the football games, I wanted the big school atmosphere, and I didn't really get that. I was committed to University of Georgia for an entire month before I switched back my commitment to this program. So I really love the big school atmosphere, and for a small school, it was all right, but it definitely wasn't what I expected college to be when I got out of high school. And then the last bit is just some internal pressures, mental health stuff. Again, this program is going to push you to your limits. It's a gauntlet. You're gonna be forced to rise above it to prove that you're able to get to med school. And if you can make it through, good for you. But I've seen it, get very, very close to breaking some people, which is something you got to keep in mind. I know it sounds dramatic, but mental health is something that shouldn't really be just kind of kept hidden in the shadows anymore. So do take care of yourself. And so now that we got off all that, ugly cons, let me talk about the pros, about what I thought about this program. Of course, you get a quicker time to get to your MD. You get, quote unquote, guaranteed med school acceptance. And then I think the coolest thing is you can concentrate a lot less on resume boosting and then more on learning. So, again, I was able to get these opportunities I was on heads of SGA boards, I was in a freaking fraternity, I was in, my student ministries, all that. I was able to dedicate a lot of time outside to community service because, well, I didn't have to. I did it because I wanted to, and that was a really, really awesome thing about this program, that I didn't have to stress about going, I need all these clubs, I need all these, positions to even make myself stand out when, the admission board gets my file. And then an awesome thing is, I know a lot of people have heard the term iron sharpens iron, and that is so true. One of my closest friends in the program got accepted to Stanford. My freshman year roommate, which I love the man, he got into Harvard. He coded for he coded for Texas Instruments back in the day. These people are brilliant, and they'll teach you things that you didn't know, and then you can go ahead and teach them things that you specialize in, and everybody just kind of supports each other, because at the end of the day, you're not competing against each other. If everybody gets through the program, everybody has a seat at the medical college, and so it's not cutthroat. Everybody's helping each other out, everybody's teaching each other, and it's a really, really cool experience to have that sort of camaraderie in college with everybody going to the same goal of medical school. And then another thing is, there are a lot of unique opportunities open up to you just because, well, you're in a BSMD program. A lot of the medical college faculty will kind of see that, again, as you're kind of a stellar student. So instead of you kind of having to force yourself and prove yourself to these professors to get research positions and stuff like that, they'll just straight up say, oh, you want it? Here you go. It's almost like it's handed to you on a silver platter. And it's really weird. It's really humbling that they think of you in such a high regard, but I think that's a really big plus about being in one of these programs, that you get opportunities that maybe a lot of people don't get. And for a lot of programs out there, you will be a pioneer of the program. A lot of these BSMD programs at other schools are just starting out. And so to be a part of that program and say like, hey, I kind of paved the way for this, puts you in a really cool position, not just in med school to bring that experience in, but also into residency. These are things that you can talk about when you get up later down the road. And you'll be very, very thankful that you did, because you can kind of see the inside of something greater than yourself. It's really, really cool. It'll be a unique opportunity to say you played an integral part in the future of a program at the university as well as the medical institution. And then, finally, you get to save a little bit of money. You shave a year off undergrad, so I guess that's there for you too. So, yeah. Okay, so last but not least, I wanted to kind of put this together and say, is this program right for you? It's a loaded question. I know. I understand. And I want to make this very, very personal from a student that has gone through it all. This is a personal message to any students that are aspiring to be in one of these programs, that are really gung-ho in high school. They're like, yes, I want to go to med school. I want to get into one of these programs. Let's go. See, either that, or maybe you just got accepted and you're trying to decide if you want to accept that invitation to a program or not. And I know you're probably smart. I'm sure you have about 8 other Ivy League acceptances sitting on your table, and any school would love to have you. But just hear me out. First off, something I really learned and something I take away from being in this program is don't underestimate smaller schools. It provides a much closer knit community. You have a much tighter relationship with faculty, and then there's more opportunity to be a leader and just kind of stick out. And on that note, med school rank does not matter, so don't worry if your affiliated medical school is not top 20 or even top 50, because that's not going to define how good of a doctor you are, and it's not going to define the opportunities that you get for residency. As far as the program goes, you'll still have your college experience. Even going to a school in my hometown, which I do, I found ways to explore more, make more very, very talented friends, and have incredible experiences that I'll never really forget. And look, most importantly, you have to ask yourself, do you really want to do medicine? It can't be for money, it can't be for parents, it can't be for status, and I've said this before in the video. It simply is not enough to get you through this program. That kind of determination from those factors will not get you through the rigor, and the program is a commitment. And sure, some programs let you transfer out, but it'll cost you a few years and probably a couple $1,000s. But just make sure that your heart is committed to medicine now if you want to be in one of these programs. And I know it's asking a lot from a 17 or 18-year-old. It is a really big, mature decision that you have to make. But I think you have to realize that you're a lot more capable of making that adult decision than you think. But if you're sitting here at the end of the video, which thank you for getting here, because I know it's long, and you're thinking, yeah, sign me up, I'm ready, this is awesome, then keep working, keep achieving, keep striving, and any program would love to have you. Okay, so if I had to summarize up what I thought of the program, I'm at the end of the road, kind of looking back, about to turn a new chapter in my life. And if I could go back and change things and, go back to UGA or whatnot, I wouldn't change a thing. This program has been such an incredible blessing in my life. I've had so many opportunities from it. I've met so many amazing people, had just so many opportunities to grow as a student, as a future medical professional, and as a leader, just as a person in general throughout my experience. And I want to share that with anybody else wondering if this program is a little bit too crazy. I say go for it. If your heart's in it, if you know you want to do medicine, just press accept. You won't regret it at all, and it's gonna be a very, very unique experience that you can say in your life, and you will take it with you, all the way up into your years of practicing. So thank you for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, my socials and contacts are down below in the description. Feel free to reach out. I am all ears. And if you would like some other videos, maybe some interviews of some older students through the program that are already in med school, how they thought about it, maybe some MCAT tip videos or anything else, please let me know. Leave a comment down below and I can get a video out on that pretty soon, since we're in quarantine. So if you got this far, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
It's coming, coming, coming.
Oh God. All right. That was a long video. I really hope I don't have to re-record any of those sections. Yeah.